morning, Tanner. Good morning, Tracy. This
Morning.
is the Team Lead Talks podcast, episode 2. I'm very excited to have you both on the show today. Today, we have the honor of welcoming the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Kings of Real Estate team out of Tennessee. Tracy and Tanner been working together for a long time. I always kind of like to start. Do you mind just giving us a little bit of an introduction of, who you are, how you met, that kind of thing?
You
How we
first.
met. Okay. All right. I'm Tracy, and I'm the team lead, owner, CEO of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Kings Real Estate team. We service literally all of East Tennessee. We have offices in Knoxville, Sevierville. If you don't know where that is, that's Dollywood. Most people think Dollywood's not a city, but how Tanner and I met, well, I'm his, he's my nephew. So I've known him all his life.
Okay.
All my life.
All his life.
Yep.
Is that good or bad?
That's good. He's a great
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Yeah, so I ended up joining Tracy in 2013 and haven't looked back. So he came and visited with me in Indiana, and then I moved down here. And what is it now? 2023. June 1st of this year will be 10 years that I've been with Tracy.
Wow.
So
Wow. Yeah, I entered the real estate world in 2013 as well, Tanner. So
okay,
kind
nice.
of along the same line. And I think you were Air Force prior, right?
I was, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
too. I was a civilian in the Air Force.
I forgot about
for 7.5 years. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know if I ever asked or told you about
I do think I did, like, kind of remember that when we first started talking in like 2021 or something.
Yeah.
And I think that came up. Yeah, I joined Tracy's team in 2013, and I think my first full year I sold 42 homes first year on his team.
Not
So,
bad.
Yeah.
Tracy, Tanner joined you in 2013, but can you give us a little bit of history of your team? Did it start in 2013 or before that?
No, it was Chris and I, we started the brokerage in 2012, just as Kings of Real Estate. We had 2 admin, and we started bringing on agents. And so we brought Tanner on in 2013, like you said. And his first year, he puppy dogged me everywhere. I mean,
what do you mean by that?
Well, he sit in the same office as I did. He had little twerks, like tapping his foot or tapping the pen. And
Oh man.
yeah. So I got to where, like, when I needed some quiet time, I said, hey, Tanner, go out in the sign room and put some signs together. Yeah. Go wash my car. All right. But no, his first year was literally everywhere I went, he went. And every phone call I was on, he listened in on. So that's how he learned. And that's how I trained him. And then we started building the team. Gosh, I don't know, 2018, I think we really started hitting our stride. And then 2020 happened, and it really, we paused a little bit. It was a short pause, and because we were used to already doing Zoom meetings with clients, because we deal with a lot of out-of-state sellers and buyers. So that really didn't slow us down any. We were already equipped and trained up how to do that. So we just kept on going, and 2020 ended up being a great year, and of course 21, 22. But
yeah, in 2020 we doubled our sales force that year.
So I know you
recruited.
You're one of the biggest teams in Tennessee now. Can you let everyone know? I mean, I've seen Tanner, we've talked a lot. I know you said something like 700 appointments in the last quarter or something crazy. Can you guys talk about where you currently are? Because I know a lot of people are going to be impressed with your numbers.
Yeah, let me pull up Billions here real quick and take a look.
Yeah, I like Billions, by the way. It's been something I've been wanting to have. Like, I tasked Tanner with, I said, find us something to where we can track, because I'm tired of all these other things, and you can't, they're custom or they're not custom made and pretty much templated. And I said, we gotta have our own system. We gotta be able to track. And so now, I mean, I can pull up on my phone the exact KPIs that I want to see on the dashboard, and I know literally everything what's going on in the business. And so I want to say thank you to Andrew and for Billions. So go ahead, Tanner.
So
So
Tanner,
go ahead.
Tanner, just before, since you all brought it up, for those of you who don't know, do you mind telling them what Billions is, Tanner?
Yeah, Billions is it's our CRM that literally just tracks every single thing automatically if you use it. That's been the biggest thing that people need to understand is, you need to use it. So it's just a custom built CRM on top of Salesforce, and it consolidated, I'd say 10 different systems and processes that we were using at one point for booking an appointment all the way to assigning the appointment, clicking of a button to know what leads were generated yesterday or last week, last month, last year, last quarter, all that good stuff. So that's why it's just once you get to a certain level in business, you need to be able to know your numbers. And if you're using a traditional real estate company's CRM, they don't focus on knowing your numbers. They focus on lead gen. And a CRM should be one thing, and it should be like knowing your numbers. It shouldn't do lead gen and website on the front end.
Gotcha. Well, you want to pull it up and talk numbers?
Sure. So
hey, let me just say one other thing about Billions is we were on a system that I was told could handle teams. And that's what I like about Billions. To me, it's like it's built by a guy who has a team. So he understands the needs of the team, that what we need as a team. So if you listen to this today, you're looking and you have a team, I highly recommend you look at Billions for your CRM. So all right, go ahead, Tanner.
Yep. So appointment wise, I mean, last quarter we generated 681 appointments by our ISA team. Currently we're sitting at 334 appointments for the quarter. What is that? Just April and May, I guess, right? All of April, and then we're 22 days into May right now.
Yeah,
this month we've had 178 appointments already and 46 last week. And then, number wise, I mean, we're sitting at 163 active listings. We've got 167 closed properties, 94 pending, 48 supposed to close this month. We've got 34 currently. It's 10:45 on Monday. So weekend hasn't been processed yet, I'd imagine. But, we're, just being able to know our numbers weekly, daily, monthly, really is beneficial to steering the team where we need to go.
Yeah, so those numbers are not small in an environment like this with low inventory, market the way it is with interest rates. How in the world are you guys setting that many appointments? Can you talk about your marketing efforts here?
But we absolutely can. Tracy's the guy for that one.
So we track and this is something I really love, is we know how many leads we produce per lead source. That's generate, and we know so we track everything by lead source, how many appointments we generated, how many how many leads we generated, how many appointments we set, how many showed, how many we signed, how many we closed. So we know everything by lead source. So you make a decision on where you need to be spending your money market wise. So marketing for us, we do a lot we do radio, TV, billboards, direct mail. We're a Zillow Flex team, and we what else do we do?
Online, pretty much. Our Google side of things is massive.
Right, everything online, which is not just Google, but it's Facebook, whatever, all social media. So that's where we generate.
We've got a for sale sign system that we've implemented on every listing. So every listing has, anywhere from 2 to 5 signs per listing that goes out, and that all has call to actions on it, easy ways to get information. So we just try to make it easy for people to get the information they want in a non-threatening way. And it seems to work.
Yeah.
And what's the secret there? Consistency? Are you doing A/B split testing? How are you? That's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff you just mentioned. And it's awesome you're able to track it as it comes in, but how are you converting and keeping up with all that? It seems like a lot of inbound leads, right?
Yeah, it is. We have a marketing officer, Trent, and he has a team of people that help him in the marketing, that do all the tracking, do all the split testing. Split testing is very important, and you need to learn how to do it correctly, or you'll spend a lot of money and or waste a lot of money. Let's put it that way. But message to marketplace is very important. You need to know your marketplace. You need to make sure you craft the right message. And sometimes we miss it, and we have to go back and find out what we missed. But the tracking is pretty easy because everything feeds into billions. People call us. We don't do any cold calling. I know there's teams out there that's
direct response marketing that you do.
Yes,
No
that's
outbound?
direct response marketing, and the phones ring into our ISA department, inside sales agency department. They answer the phone, and they pre-qualify the person, if they're ready right now to do something. If it's right now to us, it's 3 to 6 months. But if it's longer down the road, then they just follow up with them. So they're on the phone only calling people to follow up with, and they're just answering phone calls and text messages.
Okay, so you have Trent, who oversees your marketing. He's responsible for putting all this out to the world, right?
He's responsible for lead generation.
Lead generation. Okay.
Yeah.
And then walk us through. So you have all this lead gen go out. People inbound call you. Tracy, you mentioned you have an ISA team. Can you talk about your ISA team and how many people are on that, and how you kind of organize that and keep everyone straight there? And then what happens when they do set an appointment? Can you kind of walk us through your life cycle here?
Yeah, Tannor, I know you just hired 1 or 2, so we're at about 6.
Yeah, we've got 3, I'd say 5 right now, 5 solid.
5.
Yep.
Yeah, and one in training, I guess.
That would be including.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and we've just gotten more efficient too, because again, I'm not saying this to just be saying it honestly, but because of billions, we have become more efficient in how we operate, and we do not have to have as many people as we used to, because we became more efficient, and we've combined a lot of systems and all that together. But anyway, so the process works where the ISAs, they're a little bit of a rotating shift. They all don't start at the same time, so there's some times when they start differently, so we can cover a larger amount of time. And we have the weekends always, so they're rotating, but everybody gets about 2 days off, and sometimes 3, depends on the week, how the week falls. So they just answer the calls. They have a script, and the process is in billions. Somebody says yes to the appointment, they put it in billions. It gets assigned out by the sales manager to the best OSA that fits that particular client. But our agents, we book them appointments, and as many as they can skillfully handle. And we track that. We track their performance when they go out to appointment, and do they sign or not. We have all this is in billions. And so that way we can monitor their pipeline to make sure that it doesn't get over, too full, which has happened. But and then we know when, like, hey, we need to go get another 4 or 5 agents, because we're not a company that just brings on agents because we want to feed them to death. We bring on agents as we have a need. So if we have more business than our current agents can handle, then we go hire agents. Same thing for the ISAs. If they're all booking 15 appointments or so a week, then we got to go hire another ISA. It means we have more than they can get to.
Yep. So you have a team of about 5 ISAs currently, 1 or 2 in training, and then their sole purpose is to answer the phone and vet the people on the other line, right? That you have no idea about, to make sure they have quality appointments for your agents. Your agents
Right.
don't set appointments, they just get appointments booked for them.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. How many
Well-
agents do you have right now?
Tannor, where are we? 30,
Yep.
31?
Just 30. We got 30.
We're at 30 agents, and
Cool.
we make it really easy on them because we book them appointments. They go out on an appointment. Let's say, let's use buyer just for instance. They take a buyer out, show them around, put a contract together. They send it into what we call DOCs, DOCCs, docs, Department of Client Care. Then Department of Client Care takes that over for the agent and runs with it, as far as getting it to the closing table, making sure the title company's on top of the lenders on top of things. And so we do the same thing on the seller side. You go to the listing appointment, they say yes, they sign the paperwork, everything is digital, of course. They send it right over to the doc team, and then the doc team will get the pictures, photographer ordered and scheduled. And then we
The
have
signs set out.
signs, all the signs that Tannor mentioned that we get set out. And then weekly those clients, buyer and seller, hear from a person on our team, the
Customer service manager.
So
yeah.
not the agent?
They will hear from the agent as they need. I mean, the agent will stay in contact too, but it's usually feedback from the showing, you
Mhm.
know, if they're, or with the seller. So it's not, you know, it's not, they're calling maybe once a week too. You know,
So
but agents do get busy, but this is the way we found that we can fill in the gap to make sure, because customer service is a very high priority for us.
Mhm.
Tannor,
So,
you had
yeah, so
something?
you'll see in business that you know, once you start getting busy, you just lose track of time, the ability to call people back. And
Yeah.
not only, you know, is a support for the agent, but it's also a check for the company that we're doing what we said we were going to do for that client. Hey, are you happy? Is everything going the way you thought it would go? Is there something that we're missing that, you know, hasn't been taken care of? You know, so the callback is like, hey, this is Don. Tracy wanted me to reach out because this is Tracy's business and this is how we have it set up, that Tracy is checking in
Mhm.
on what we're doing and how things are going. And at the end of all of this, the goal is to get a 5-star review and a referral of some sort.
Okay.
So it's not just a you know, a one and done. It's a, how can we continue to leverage this client so that we can get more clients for, you know, for future business.
And it's almost like a quality control, sounds like,
100%.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So just to clarify, your agents get an appointment put on their calendar, they get ready for the appointment, I'm assuming, go on the appointment. If and when they do sign someone, they just turn it over to your DOC team?
Yep.
And then their job is to what? Just go on the next appointment, try to
Yes.
sign that. What happens if they don't sign someone? Does it get turned over to any team, or are they responsible for working it until they're signed?
Yeah. So it depends on the reason not signed. You know, if it's a pretty far out, hey, yeah, we're not doing anything for 8 months. The goal of the agent is to try to get something signed,
Mhm.
right? But if they just can't, we have an autopsy that's done. So after an appointment is completed and you don't turn in paperwork, there's an autopsy done on the appointment, and we figure out what we can do to earn the business of the client so that we can help them achieve their goal, which is either, you know, selling so they can move with family or do whatever it is that they're trying to do, or buy a property. So if we deem it, you know, hey, yeah, this is legit, a follow-up, we'll give it back to the ISA, and the ISA will continue to follow up, and then we send mail to that client as well. Just so they're saying, you know, we're staying top of mind.
Gotcha. So your DOC team, can you kind of explain how that is constructed? How many people are on it? And specifically, like, do you have policies and processes? So like someone signs something, there's checklists and, you know, something that gets followed each and every time?
Yeah, so, you know, Billions doesn't do document prep, right? So we have to use and the only two systems we have are Billions, and we have like a transaction management system. And that the transaction management system for now is all of our checks and balances. So if you get a listing turned in, you submit it. And once it's submitted, a whole, you know, checks and balance of what needs to happen and who needs to do what is launched on that property. and that
Okay.
client. And then that's how that works. And then our DOC team consists of one lady, and she works in the office, and then she has a team of 4 virtual assistants.
Mhm.
So they all just operate within one account, and she's able to, handle 100 pendings and 165 listings and 170 closings, and just continue to do, more and more. And this all
30
started,
agents.
yeah. And we started the director of client care position. It's like a hybrid spot of a transaction coordinator and a listing coordinator. And we did it because what, the service side of the business, we found across the board in all industries is massively lacking. So if
Mhm.
you can over service a client and show tons of value, typically you're going to have a more positive experience than if you were, never hearing from anybody, one man show, trying to do it on your own. So we revamped that position a little bit, and obviously we offered more money because we wanted somebody who was more qualified and skilled in the ability. I think what was our kind of like a model we were looking for is like the Ritz-Carlton effect or something like that. Is that what you're doing?
Ritz-Carlton. Mhm.
Yeah. However they do it, it's like that type of service is what we want to do.
Okay. So you have your marketing, your ISAs, your agents, or I think you said OSAs, and
yep.
then your DOC. And then when the DOC gets a file, they go through that process,
Mhm.
listing, transaction coordination, hybrid, get the property or the buyer to close, right?
Mhm.
Is there a team after that, or does the cycle just continue in a circle from there? Is that the last kind of step or phase in your org?
Yeah, that is at that point, that's the last, but then they get on our lifetime customer mailing list and call list. So then we're constantly following up.
And what is that comprised of if you're on a lifetime follow-up? Just solds or
No, it's newsletters, it's information of value, it's phone calls. When the market shifted, it was calling those people who had bought prior to the market shift, and hey, market's changed, would you like a new price on your property? Or now's a great time to get in, interest rates at an all-time low. You need to be, seriously considering doing, making a move or doing more than what you're doing now.
Mhm. And that just snowballs year after year as you're closing more and more people.
Yes.
That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive that you have about
look-
200 closed and your DOC team's able to handle 94 pendings and all those actives.
Yes.
It's a lot to handle.
It's a
Mhm.
massive amount.
So you have all these things happening at the same time, and you have 30 agents, your ISA team. How in the world are you keeping track of keeping them happy, keeping them supported? How do you do that? Do you have weekly cadences where you do these check-ins? Can you kind of walk us through how you keep all these people hungry and motivated? And
Yeah. Before Tracy talks, I do want to say the only reason and way and ability we're able to do what we're doing is from the leadership and the trust that he has given me, which I've then turned around and instilled in others. So I know he's going to probably go into a more detailed approach on that, but it really had to do with turning loose and allowing people to do what he hired them to do and
Mhm.
trusting us to do what needed to be done. I've been working with tons and tons of teams across the country, and the level of trust and faith he has in myself, and then I'm able to then turn around and put in our other, department heads. It's just not out there. So I wanted to, pre-frame with that.
Thank you, Tanner.
Yeah.
So it does start with surrounding yourself with people who are capable to do the job. I mean, you got to start there and you just build out. And so what we did with Tanner is help him build his leadership team, because, you can't do this alone. Like I'm the visionary, and I'm the, I'll come up with wild stuff and tell Tanner like, hey, I want to do this. And he'll kind of look at me cross-eyed like, what? But he finds a way with his team. They find a way to get it done. And so we have a strong, but to answer your question, there's systems and processes and procedures. There's also, it's your culture. we love Slack. We communicate. I mean, I feel like I'm like really involved in things just because I can, pull my phone and I'm on Slack and I can chime in here and there and read what's going on. And, it's really awesome. But getting together, where it's called, what's it called? Tuesdays now are called Win.
Yeah, it's our win
meetings.
meetings.
Yeah, win meetings that Tannor and some couple other people lead every week. They take, just take some time turns. And then I do one's called the town hall meeting. That's when everybody comes together in one place and we have fun and I'll do a small training or whatever. My wife's there, she's speaking, and we do that once a quarter. It falls in once a quarter. But we also have Tuesdays where we have it each, well, it's not each name, it's each of our worthy causes, we can go to their location and actually serve them physically. So both of them have, like, one is Knoxville Dream Center. They have a huge warehouse. They bring in a lot of stuff, clothing, food, and whatever, and we can go there and knock out, several projects. They had a bookmobile we helped with, and just different things like that we can go physically do and give, because it's easy to write a check, but it's harder to give of yourself. So
Right.
we shut down the company for 4 hours on Tuesday. Is that once a month, Tanner?
Actually what we're doing, we moved it to once a quarter. So we were
Once a
doing,
quarter.
it was once a week, but the groups were too small, so the impact wasn't as large. And
Yeah.
I was getting feedback from the organizations that, hey, it's great, the consistency, but the impact that you get when 75 people show up and just totally,
Yeah.
flip upside down
Crush
a
it.
project they've been stuck on. That's where you really feel the impact of it. So we're
yeah,
once a quarter now,
moving that
and we
once a
actually
quarter.
have it next Tuesday. Next
Right.
Tuesday's coming up.
Yeah.
So your whole team gets together and helps a cause in the Tennessee area.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have those
Yep.
two local nonprofits we work with that request help. There is one that only needs money, and that's the Smoky Mountain Children's Home. There's not a lot we can
Right.
do besides give them funds, but the other
And we
two,
we donate a portion of every home we sell to those worthy causes, just so you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So as you mentioned, you're growing as the need for growth is there, right? How are you, and you have a big team already, right? How are you finding new top talented agents and ISAs to join your team? You mentioned bringing on like maybe 4 or 5 at a time, or 1 or 2 ISAs. What do you all do to get that top talented group to come join the Kings of Real Estate team?
Well, we're always looking. So we've hired people in different industries, not just necessarily the real estate industry. But we look for agents that we like working with and shows promise. We try to recruit them, but then we look for people who have natural sales ability talent, whether it's restaurant industry to call centers to, I mean, you name it. If you have a natural ability to you, we're going to take a look at you.
yeah, just the ability to connect to people. I mean, one of our top agents was a general manager of a restaurant here locally, and I always love his story because it was a sincere appreciation of, he did his first year with us and he did great, and he had Christmas off with his wife and kid, and he was like, it's the first Christmas I've ever had off in 20 years.
Oh wow.
And it was like, man, we were able to get him into a position to be able to do that, get him out of that rat race of, whatever he was doing prior, and joined the team, found a new drive and a new passion, and still serving people to a high level. And it was really, that's one that still sticks with me to this day.
Yeah, it sounds like his culture shift was black and white, coming from the restaurant industry to where you are. How important is culture fit with the people that you hire on your team?
Yeah, that's what we hire around our culture. You have to.
End of story.
You can get we hear I don't know if you've heard of this one. It's called OBTs.
OBTs?
Yeah, on board terrorist.
I have
We don't-
not.
Yeah. So when our coach tells us that one, but you can hire people that you bring on, it's just not a good fit, and they can really damage your company, internally.
Yeah,
We've had
team members. Yeah.
yeah. So we're real choosy, and we take our time, but we're always looking. So
Yep.
that
just
helps.
like our appointment process and our marketing process, we have a hiring and onboarding process. I mean, the process to even get an interview is 5 steps, and then you get an interview. And then if you pass that interview, you meet with members of the sales management team and go through a process with them. Then after that, I'm the last step after you've checked all that. And then it's like a legit, let's figure out if you're going to be a good fit for us, and we're going to be a good fit for you or not.
Okay.
Yeah, we do lead gen for hiring prospects.
Yep.
And so we always have that funnel, filling up. I will tell you a little secret, that the reason Tannor does the hiring is I'm a high I unless I'm in the office and I'm having to be a D, I can be strong D, but my natural is high I. If I don't know who's listening to this, but if you're, that's the DISC personality test. And
Right.
high I's make terrible people to hire because we like everybody. So it's hard for us. So anyway, Tanner's learned that, about me, and so has my wife, and said, yeah, you don't need to hire anymore.
Okay. So you've given that responsibility over to Tannor.
I took it. He didn't give it to me. I had to.
He
fight
took
it.
it.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Okay.
There's just things all of us are naturally good at. And Tracy's, not that he's not great at hiring, but I think at the level we're at, the last thing he needs to be doing is sitting around, reviewing applications. So if I do ever run into situations where I'm torn, he is my go-to for, hey, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I think. What do you think?
Okay.
So
if it's a key position like the county, or something like that, then my wife and I and Tannor, we're all three involved in that process.
Yep.
Okay. So more management level, all three of you, but team member level, Tanner's kind of got that handled.
Yeah.
Unless there's something that he needs you
Unless
to break.
he's on the fence or something. Yeah.
Okay. And then Tannor, you had mentioned a pretty stringent process of, when someone says, hey, I might be interested, all the way to get to you.
Yep.
That's a pretty, a lot of hurdles to jump over, making sure you have the right fit. I get the importance of that part of it, because like Tracy said, there's toxic people that could hurt your business too. But let's talk about after they meet with you and you say, I do think this person would be a good King's team member, whether that's an ISA or an OSA, let's say. What happens after that? It sounds like you have a very organized process up until that point. And then you had mentioned through onboarding. Can you walk us through how you efficiently onboard these people?
Yeah, so we, by the time they get to me, they're in majority of the system. So we've already got emails, phone, all this stuff. If it's an OSA, I send it back to Jacob, and he schedules. We do onboarding and hiring on 2 days a week. So if you just have to wait till one of those days to get it going, and that's for all positions. And he runs with it. We've got a whole checks and balance action plan that launches. You bring someone on, everybody's notified to do their job. That agent or ISA shows up on one of the days for onboarding, and they start their onboarding process. And I'm not involved in the onboarding process. I just reviewed all the things that happen. But I don't have any affiliation with getting people into the systems and training and all that. So that's our director of sales handles that for agents.
Okay, so you guys mentioned you have a high standard of quality, and brand is very important. So you have a very strict or stringent process of getting to you, Tannor, and then ultimately hiring and onboarding. How quickly, though, is an ISA answering phone calls, or is an OSA going on appointments? Can you walk us through that? Are they shadowing people for a little bit? Can you talk about that?
So the first part of it is they do an on-the-job shadow. before we ever bring them in, that's part of the interview process. They actually come and they watch and they sit
prior
and
to
they
getting
make,
hired?
yep, and they sit and they make phone calls for a half a day with our ISA sales managers,
Okay.
just to make sure that they can actually see themselves in this position for a while.
Almost like a trial period.
Yes.
To see,
Yep.
you know, test them and see if they like it, and if you think they would, you know, like
Yep.
or enjoy that job long term.
Correct. So after that, then they move through. So we hired 2 ISAs. It's been 2 weeks. We've got 2 new ones. And their only goal the first, while is to watch some training videos and memorize our script and be able to give our call to actions back and our offers back to the consumer on the phone. Once they pass that, we've just pushed them to get on the phones. So they're on the phones making dials, I'd say within 4 days. And that proved super successful last 2 weeks, because each one of them have been booking at least 10 appointments already a week, and they're not even 30
You
days
say
in.
10
Yeah.
appointments already?
Each. Yep.
Okay. That's how you retain team members like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Make
first
money.
week they're getting 10 appointments and they're seeing
Yeah.
the possibility of those commissions coming in, right?
Yeah. Yep. And yep.
Okay, so that's your ISA team. You get them on, basically you just say, hey, here's the script. Here's what we need to know about these prospects. And then you just get them on the phone.
Yeah,
What
you got to
about
rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah. OSAs,
right.
we want them to have a pending within 30 days. So that's our goal. If they join the team, they should have a property pending or ratified, whatever you want to call it, within 30 days of joining the team.
But are they going on appointments by themselves within the first 30 days?
So they do their training up front, they do shadowing, and then somebody goes with them on their first couple of appointments until they get it.
Okay.
And then they're off to the races.
Okay. Is that different or the same if you had like an agent coming from another company or brokerage that's trained up in real estate versus you mentioned the gentleman coming from the restaurant? I'm not sure what role he had, but let's pretend he wanted to be an agent. So potentially zero real estate background, there's a lot to it, contracts, comps, etc. How do you treat those differently, or do you treat them the same?
They're treated the same, because even though you come from, a background of sales and you've been doing it for, let's just say 5 years, you still have a paradigm you have to eliminate when you join our team. We are not like the traditional real estate team or company or brokerage. Nothing we do is industry standard. So if everybody's going this way, we're going that way. And that takes a lot of mental toughness to break your own, break your own corks that you've been doing for 5 years and do it our way. So they may push through faster, but we treat everybody the same. Good. TK.
I'll give you a real quick just glimpse of example of that. When we hire agents that's been in the business, through 3, 4, 5 years, they have a hard time just turning loose their contract over to the doc team and not being involved,
right?
Because that's their next paycheck. And so I just have to really talk to them about, like, listen, we've been doing this a long time, and our doc team has never ever cost us a deal. Never. And when I was in production closing, I don't know, 15, 20 deals a month, they never cost me a deal. I didn't have the time to worry about what was going on. I had to trust them, but I knew the process that I built. So, we walk them through it, make sure they understand it, but it's really like, they're just like,
and it holds them back, though. It holds them back from performing and exceeding their expectations of why they joined the team. You join for all these reasons, and then you don't use the reasons.
Yeah, those are resources at their disposal that allow them to essentially pass off a contract. And instead of spending 10 hours a week on that contract, that could be 8 to 10 more appointments they're going on.
So I had a recruiting event last week, and one of the gentlemen in there, he'd been in the business about a year, and he's on a local team here at KW, and he was talking to me, and he said, he's closing about 10 deals a year. And we were just talking about what we do and how we do it. And he goes, he was just talking about how busy he is all the time. Right. Oh, I'm just so busy. I'm so busy. closing 10 deals. I say you may be busy, but you're not being productive. You're not being efficient.
Right.
Because whenever you're handling one deal a month, essentially, you're spending the whole month focused on just trying to close this one deal. And you feel busy, but what happens if you want to get another deal? Well, you can't, because you're just focused on this one. So I say, if you just let go of that, imagine how much more busy, productive you'll be versus feeling busy.
That was another area right there, Tanner. We dealt with the agents that are like, they don't, if they don't feel busy, they don't feel like they're doing anything. I'm like, well, how many pennies do you have? I got 4. I'm like,
Go
what else
fish.
do you like to do? What else do you like to do? I said, our commitment to you is give you back your time. So go do something else with your time. I mean, you can work more if you want, but if there's something else, don't feel guilty for going to your kid's baseball game and or
Going on
kids
vacation.
recital, whatever. Right.
You have a lot of opportunity for your agents currently on the team. How do you handle, I mean, all people are different, right? I'm sure you have some agents that want to close 100 deals themselves, right? And then you mentioned I want to go to my child's baseball game, I want to go fishing. Do you also have people that are the exact opposite, that just want to close 10 a year? And how do you handle that? Is it, to each their own kind of thing?
Yeah, so we have a minimum standard on our contract. And if you're not going to hit the minimum standard, we're going to have a conversation about it. And, we may not be the right fit, because even though we want you to live that life, you still have to be able to perform. And everybody has metrics they've got to meet, myself included. I mean, it's not like just willy-nilly out here. So that's why we have such a strong interview and hiring process, to make sure that the people we bring on are driven, they're goal oriented, they're financially set, and they want to do more and grow more. So, you may have somebody who wants to close out 10 a month, but you're also going to have someone who contractually and is good with closing out 2 to 3 a month. And that's whenever you start hiring out of overflow.
Gotcha. Okay. So you really take the people that you have on the team to their fullest capacity levels. A lot of variables in that, but as the need for, one person who's okay with closing 3 to 4 a month doesn't want to, how does that work? You say, hey, you're going to go on this appointment. They're like, I have enough already. And do they pass on appointments? Because you said a lot of appointments. Just managing that alone sounds, you have to have it organized, right? So how do you handle when you assign someone an appointment and I don't know, do people turn them down on your team?
They do sometimes, and that's a process that we're still working on, because even though, we've got it down pat, just trying to get the agents to manage their calendar and put things on it is a big deal. It's life. Some people forget, to do it. I know Tracy didn't like to hear that. He kind of perked up when, but originally the goal is if you're open and we book an appointment, that means you're the best agent for that appointment. And if your calendar's open, you're taking it. Okay. Now, obviously there's problems that could arise, hey, my kid just got sick and I haven't had a chance to update my account. Like, we have grace on it. But if it's a reoccurring thing where every time we give you an appointment, you just pass off, you're probably just not a good fit anymore.
Yeah, you're gonna have that conversation with that.
We used to have agents on the team that had their weekends blocked, and we're like, what's are you meeting with former client? What are you doing? No, I just want weekends off. Like, no, that doesn't work.
They would pre-block them with like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Events. Yeah.
Busy.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're getting better. I mean, even though we do well, we still have a ton of holes in the boat that we could plug and do better and keep pushing forward. And I mean, I think that's what makes us great, is that we're never content. We never just stay okay with what we're doing. Our biggest thing we've done recently is just, you don't get listing appointments unless you're signing at 70%. So that took us from 30 agents taking listings down to like 7 to 12. So if you get a listing appointment, 7 out of 10 times, you better have a signed contract coming back.
70% is your minimum to just keep getting them. Okay. And
that's why we got 160 something listings now.
Right. Yeah. Because you're
right.
Yeah. We were 16 of 20 last week. So we brought on 16 new listings out of 20. I think that was 80%.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
No,
I mean, we could do better for sure. I told them. I agree. We probably could have got 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
I agree with Andrew. We should have gotten 20. Should
So
have got 21. Somebody should have referred us. Out of those 20, we should have got a
Yeah.
referral. So we should have had
yeah,
21.
the overage. Have you ever had that happen?
I'm working on it, guys. All right. I can only do so
Yeah, I know.
much.
So the top of the top need to be at 70%. And is it safe to assume if you're not meeting that threshold, are you taking buyer appointments?
Yes.
Okay.
And our threshold on buyer is lower, just based on the sheer volume of buyer business we get.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I know we're coming up on time here. I always have one last question. What was can you attribute one point or turning point in time, Tracy, or both of you, where you really turned, from where you were into this powerhouse? Can you attribute it to one thing that happened? I know it's kind of a hard question sometimes to answer, but sometimes it's just that one thing that you're like, this is what I decided to do, and really took your growth from 0 to 100.
So, yeah, I that's an easy answer for me. I signed up for Craig Proctor coaching, and my coach is Todd Walters, and I just decided to go all in, and I listen and I copy and implement. So that's what we did. We took somebody who was successful and we just copied.
Right.
Yeah. And be consistent with it. Yeah. That's what
So
it was.
You learn. I have mentors too, and I have coaches, and I think that's a great mentality to have, right? So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and going through trial and error, you are the company you keep. So attach yourself to people that have been there, done that are successful, and just emulate them. And then you kind of iterate after that, but you're at least not trying to reinvent and come up with everything on.
And it's important to me, I think it's wise that if you're going to hire a coach, you need to hire someone who actually has done it. So Craig Proctor was a top real estate agent, actually #1 Remax agent in the world for 15 years running. So he's not just talking about stuff like, this is proven things that he has. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, I'm all in.
That's awesome. Tannor, I'm assuming that kind of bled down to you, or do you have
It did. And then I think for me also, like I talked about earlier, with just the trust to get things going, because you can't do it all on your own. Tracy's always just said, hey, nobody in the company can bankrupt it besides me. So if you make a mistake, we'll be able to fix it. Just do what needs to get done, and then we'll go from there. And by doing that and having people that we can lean on, not only has allowed us to be super efficient in our real estate company, but it's allowed us to open up, 3 other companies. So, and we run those companies along with this one. So you can't do all that by doing it yourself.
Right. Or inefficiently. So find efficiency. And
correct.
then the other things, are they real estate related?
So we've got an insurance company. We have Tracy's got a mortgage company, and then an overnight rental company for like Airbnbs and stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So everything kind of stemmed from this real estate company and builds on top of each other. That's
correct.
Well, congratulations to both of you on your enormous success. I really appreciate you coming on and spending about an hour with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, very great.
Thank you.
To have you. And best of luck to you in the future. And I'm sure we'll be in touch.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
You too.
Take care. See you.
Guys.
Bye-bye.